My name is Bart Coppens and I study butterflies and moths, and I have a YouTube channel about them. But today I have a really special moth to show. This right here is called a sweetheart moon moth. Scientific name Actias dulcinea. This medium-sized species is very unusual. Just look at the triangular wings and the strange angle in which it holds its wings down. That's really funky, isn't it? Not to mention its very unusual pale color and short stubby tails. This is a female, by the way. A fascinating creature. But the real question is it possible to raise these moths in captivity? And what is there that we can learn about this unusual species? Have you ever heard about this species? A sweetheart moon moth? It's unusual and they are new in captivity. So I'm going to see if I can breed it in captivity. How to breed the sweetheart moon moth by Bart Coppens. You're watching my most popular web series online. It's called MothCycles. And in every episode of MothCycles, you and me raise a species of moth together from egg to fully grown moth. Let's start the intro! Oh hey, what's up there, fans and fanatics? After a long time of studying insects in Brazil and doing rainforest conservation and documenting invertebrates for a natural reserve in Brazil, I came back to my own home country, the Netherlands. In comparison, it feels very cold and there's very little insects. I have to get used again to the climate of the Netherlands after being in a rainforest. But that's a good moment to start breeding insects again. And this time I would like to complete the life cycle of a special species. Let's wait for those motorcycles to pass. Yeah, they have a midlife crisis. I would like to complete the life cycle of a special species of moon moth. It's known as the sweetheart moon moth, Actias dulcinea. Now, Actias dulcinea is an interesting species of moon moth from the Far East. It's actually difficult to obtain material from it. Until recently they were very rarely offered. Suddenly they became common in the hobby, but I think that's not going to last forever. So better take advantage of it now they're available. Actias dulcinea is not a species you can get very easily most of the time. And it's not being raised by that many people, but I shall be among the people who have. So let's raise some Actias dulcinea, the sweetheart moon moth. I've already prepared their container. Some of their favorite food plant is vagus or beech tree. And I will be attempting to raise them. Here I have some eggs and some of the eggs are already hatching. So let's transfer some of the caterpillars into the box. It's rare species of moon moth time. Now the eggs of Actias dulcinea are very interesting because they have like these tiger stripes. They have a very interesting pattern. Unfortunately, not all the eggs that I've been sent were fertile. As you can see, some of them have collapsed. And if you have any experience with breeding moths, collapsed eggs means that they were infertile. They were not fertilized. Now this can happen for various reasons. But it seems not all of my eggs are infertilized because we do have babies coming out. And may I introduce you to a newborn caterpillar of a moon moth from the Far East. This is the baby of Actias dulcinea. There you go. So we have to be very careful with baby larvae because they're incredibly delicate. It's very easy to crush them. I like using a paintbrush to pick them up. Now, if you've seen many of my life cycle episodes, this is probably standard protocol to you. But I explain it to the people watching it, you know, just in case this is their first Bart Coppens life cycle, and just so they know the basics. So, yep. And that's it, basically. Now, there's already several caterpillars in here, as you can see. So the breeding is just getting started right now. To be honest, I did not have a great hatch rate on the eggs. I only have about 18 caterpillars, I think, so it's not going to be an episode where we have a crazy amount of moths. We only have a modest amount. These are the newborn first instar caterpillars. The best plants to use are oak tree or quercus, or beech, aka fagus. They also eat a lot of other plants, like willow tree. Now this species here is not difficult to breed, but it is difficult to obtain. Not many breeders get to raise Actias dulcinea in their lifetime. It's a nice and pretty species of moon moth, although it looks very similar to many other Far Eastern species. They like gentle and mild temperatures. Right now our babies are super small, but trust me, they will grow and develop into large moths. And after that we check back a few days later. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a little bit of an issue with the host plant. It's early in spring, so the leaf of birch is really soft. And it kind of goes droopy a little, really fast. It dries out so fast. I don't like that. I'm gonna add some oak leaves, just for good measure. Let's see. Let's see if they like oak. That would be an upgrade if they're willing to eat it. At least in my opinion. Because the oak has more mature leaf already. These young beech leaf are just, I don't know, they dry up in seconds. That's all for today. The caterpillars have grown. Most have entered instar number 2 at this point. They look bigger and more convincingly orange. A few days later. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to see how our special species of moon moth is doing today. Yoink! Aha! Just what I thought. The food is dried and wilted. Perhaps it's time to change their food, however. And these are instar number 3. In this life stage they turn green. How awesome. Alright, I'm switching to oak tree in a water bottle. Usually beech, by the way, is a perfect food plant for this moon moth. But it's so early in spring and the young leaves of beech tend to dry out much faster. If you have old leaf, it's fine in a water bottle, but the young leaf is terrible. So I'm just gonna try to use oak tree, which kind of has the same problem sometime in spring, in a water bottle, like this. And this will keep it fresh and stop it from drying out. Yup, looking better now. On fresh leaves of oak tree, I'm sure they will appreciate that. This species of moon moth is hard to obtain for hobbyists, but it's relatively easy to raise in captivity. If you follow my channel, you would know that I'm a big fan of moon moths of all kinds, and I attempt to document their life cycles. Now, some of them are still instar number 2, but most are instar 3 at this point. A few days later, we gotta check back and see how our babies are doing. Ah yes, ladies and gentlemen, the sweetheart moon moth, like I said, pretty unusual species. I kinda want to take them out of their old container and place them in a big container. Feel like they're outgrowing this small setup, but first, let's see how they are doing. Oh, looking pretty good. Excellent. They are fully grown third instars. But I have a problem. At this point they are outgrowing the box that I've been keeping them in. They have to be removed and put into a larger enclosure soon. Alright people, our unusual species of moon moth is in their new home. And what I like to do, it's not necessary, but it helps, is to add some paper towel on the bottom. This makes it easier to clean when they poop a lot. Yeah. I mean, caterpillars, they do poop a lot, like any breeder should know. So this makes it easier to clean out if they make a lot of mess. Good. I haven't counted how many caterpillars I just transferred in total. It's not too many because not all my eggs hatched. If I had to estimate, I think there's about 12 or 13 of them. To be honest, that's not a very large amount, sadly. It would have been nicer if more of my eggs hatched and I had more babies. But it should be enough to breed the species if you're lucky. We're going to try to have no losses from now on. This should be an easy species. I'm very talented with breeding moon moths in general, even if I say so myself. But hey, it's true, I raised like 15 species of moon moth, I think, yeah? So if anyone can do it, it should be me, and this should not be a hard species. So I feel like we should give them just some time and space and then check back later. Alright, time to place a lid on our Actias dulcinea. Yay. And now it's closed. A few days later. Actias dulcinea. Actias dulcinea, the sweetheart moon moth, such a beautiful name. The good news is this species is growing really well. This makes me happy because I love moon moths. They're some of my favorites. The reason why I have so many moon moth species on my channel is because they are really some of my favorite saturniids. And can you blame me? Their colors are usually some of the most beautiful. So we're gonna see how they're doing. It looks like they're growing really well. On oak tree right now, I'm gonna give them new food soon. But first, let's see how these babies are developing over here. Oh, that's very interesting. Ah, these are the 4th instar caterpillars. They look different from most species of moon moths, especially due to the pale creamy yellow to whitish tubercules on their body. They seem to be enjoying oak tree reasonably well. Moon moths are some of my favorite species, so I'm happy to raise some species that I've never reared before. As usual, when I see caterpillars, I cut the branches that they're sitting on. This way I can collect the caterpillars without disturbing them too much. Caterpillars, they don't like to be dislocated from the place where they are resting. So instead of taking the caterpillar off the branch, I just remove the branch with the caterpillar on it, as you can see, just to see how they're doing. So here's one larva. Wow, I can't wait until they're beautiful, unusual species. So this one is relatively new in the hobby. So when a new moon moth species hits the hobby, I instantly have to raise it. Actually, I already did years ago. The species is not that new in the hobby anymore. I think about 4 years ago they were offered for the first time, and since then I've been breeding them immediately. Right now this species is very common in the hobby. It's also easy to breed, but I think in the future it could be harder to obtain them. So if you haven't raised them yet, people, raise the species right now before it disappears from the hobby again, because then it's gonna take a long time for you to find any livestock of this one. So take your opportunity while it's there, right? Let's see. Well, this is gonna take a while. Maybe you should skip some time here. So just collecting all the caterpillar babies. So how many larvae do we have? It seems we have about 10. Now I know 10 larvae, it doesn't look like much, but I didn't have many more of them hatching from the eggs, to be honest. And I think since the babies hatched from the eggs, we only had 2 losses. That's very little. So I didn't have that much caterpillars to begin with in the first place. So I do hope these will make it. We have a small number, so if we have losses, it's gonna ruin the breeding. So we have to have like a 90% survival ratio to make this successful. But I think I can make it work. Let's take the caterpillars and put them back to their updated enclosure once again. Let's hope they will thrive in here. There you go, guys. Go and find a fresh leaf. A few days later. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am not going to clean the container of Actias dulcinea. Not at all. Alright folks, let's because put I did that yesterday, but I didn't film it. So instead I'm going to show you some of the developments now. Because some of the larvae, not all of them, but some of them have finally hit instar number 5. Yes, the final instar. So we have a mix of instar 3, 4 and 5 in the same container. Very curious. Well, let's have a look. What's funny is when caterpillars shed their skins, they leave behind an empty skin, and this is evidence that they shed. So this is the empty skin of a larva of a moon moth. Can you see that? That's pretty crazy, isn't it? So a moon moth larva just literally bursts out of its own skin and leaves the old skin behind. Crazy, isn't it? And here is the offender. Now this is one of the first instar number 5s that we have, the 5th life stage of Actias dulcinea. As you can see, this guy is still soft because he literally just shed his skin. He still has to dry up. This species is definitely different from all the other species I filmed the life cycle of so far. As you can see, they have like these pale tubercles. Now this caterpillar is still in the process of drying. Its tubercles will become a little bit darker later, but still very pale. But that's great, right? Final life stage of the sweetheart moon moth. It's a beauty. Great. After completing this life stage, they are going to make cocoons. And that's what we want. Alright babes, this is the fifth and the final instar. Most of them are catching up now and getting close to spinning precious cocoons. Raising this species from caterpillar to cocoon takes about 5 to 6 weeks on average. They are a medium-sized species of moon moth. Properly sized larvae can measure up to 8 cm in size. They feed on many kinds of deciduous trees including Vagus, Salix, Quercus, Prunus, Alnus, Rosa, Juglans, Acer, Pyrrhus, Malus and more. Below are some images of fully grown larvae. Why are some caterpillars wet? Are they sweating? Well, if your caterpillars appear to be wet, greasy or oily, they are either very sick and infected with the virus, or they are about to spin cocoons. In this case it was good news because I think they are really close to cocooning. In a few days I suspect their development is completed. A few days later, of course, we check back.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. If I'm coughing, it's because I have coronavirus. I'm not even joking right now. This is not a joke. I literally just did a test. I have coronavirus. I'm fine. I feel perfectly okay, but my voice is a little bit different, and from time to time, see, I have a nasty cough. That's coronavirus for you. Anyway, let's not let it distract us. I noticed one of the caterpillars is doing something very strange, and I think it's worth documenting. Let me show you.
Now guys, I want you guys to look at this caterpillar. Look what happened. This larva is literally turned brown. Now why is that? That, my friends, is because this caterpillar wants to spin a cocoon. One thing that's interesting about caterpillars is sometimes they can change color before they are ready to spin a cocoon. It's called prepupal camouflage or prepupal color. And it helps the caterpillar camouflage themselves when they have to leave the host plant and wander over the floor or the tree bark looking for a place to pupate. Because their green camouflage doesn't really work if you have to leave the vegetation. So what they do is they will literally change color. It's not a joke, like they will literally change color, as you can see. Here's one of the green caterpillars. So what this means is that this caterpillar right here, this brown one, is going to make a cocoon within 48 hours. It's probably going to wander around aimlessly for a few hours in the container until it finds a place that it likes. And that's where it will settle and start making a silken cocoon. So that's funny, huh? Just look at the dramatic change in color right here. So this is the fully grown caterpillar of Actias dulcinea, the sweetheart moon moth.
It's a species that not many people have raised yet because it's somewhat new in the hobby. But it's super easy to breed, so I think in the future more people will breed them. The other caterpillars are looking fine and healthy. I do wish that we had a bigger hatching rate, because I'm raising like 10 caterpillars, that sucks. Wish I had more. I literally had 0 losses so far. So that's actually perfect result. So now we know about the dramatic color change that they can have. Now you see the difference, a healthy green caterpillar versus the brown pre-pupal one. This caterpillar has a strange black spot here. I wonder why. Maybe a minor injury, who knows. Crazy difference, eh? They just changed their color like that in one day. Caterpillars are full of surprises. There you go. Such an interesting species, eh? Actias dulcinea. Remember the name? Really nice insect, eh? Great, the sun is shining fully into my eyes. So I was looking at the dulcinea. They're doing pretty well. They've eaten most of this oak tree right here, which is why I'm going to give them new plant. You will see one of the caterpillars. Little moon moth babies, well, not so little anymore. Looking pretty alright, aren't they? So there you go. There you go. Fantastic. But what's even cooler is I noticed that we had some of the first cocoons. So this I have to show you as well. The cocoons this species seem to spin on the floor. But here in the paper towel that I leave on the bottom for them, I noticed this brown egg-shaped thing, and upon closer examination it was a cocoon. And there's not one, there should actually be 2 cocoons in here. There you go, here's 2 cocoons. It's 2 very papery looking cocoons because they decided to spin the cocoon between the kitchen paper that I use to keep the cage clean. That's funny. But hey, these are cocoons and these are going to be moths. So there you go. There you go. 1, 2, 3. I found 3 cocoons. Cocoons are really ugly because they spin cocoons in the paper. So they're like these... in the wild they are just made of silk and leaves. But they incorporate other materials in the cocoons too, as you can see. So we got some caterpillars left. I think the best way to rear moon moths is not in a plastic box, but in cages. But my cages are all occupied in full. So I'm using a box, and this time it's working out pretty okay. Even though the extra humidity makes it more dangerous because bacteria and viruses can spread in a plastic box more easily. But hey, so far so good. I'm optimistic. So yeah, I'm gonna close the box soon and check back. Slowly waiting for more cocoons to form. Some of the smallest caterpillars though seem to be a little bit behind. I hope they're going to make it. Sup, folks? Yeah, let's see how Actias dulcinea is doing. I got their container right here. Yeah? So let me take this camera right here and have a look. Right. So what we see is we see many lime green, awesome, fully grown looking moon moth larvas. Oh my gosh, that's just fantastic. That's just healthy.
I am so happy, babes. I have absolutely no life. I'm an absolute loser. And, in the face of society, I'm a massive loser. But I do have something making me happy and distracting me from my terrible life, and it's the fact that I here have a lot of moths that are ready. One thing I also noticed is that here on the floor there's this weird protrusion, and I think, see this? This is a weird lamp. But I think we all know what's going on here if we open it up. That is, if we manage to open it up. Come on, come on. Yep, exactly what I thought. Another cocoon. It's official. This is our next cocoon of Actias dulcinea, the sweetheart moon moth. For some reason, all of them so far have really hidden in the paper towel. I guess they really love spitting into the leaf litter layer of the forest. So, fantastic. So this should be another moth soon. Let's put it away. Apart from that one weird and sick looking larva, all of them are looking pretty fine. So it's starting to look like Bart Coppens, the sexy moth king, the absolute chad that he is, the absolute alpha male, the absolute masculine, super high level of testosterone, attractive, totally not a soy boy, XXL WWE wrestler Bart Coppens has done it again. Another life cycle of a moon moth. Dang, we raised so many moon moths on this channel. And we're going to keep going. Look at that. Look at how it's devouring the oak leaf though. It's just disappearing before my eyes. Look at how it's digging its jaws into that leaf, just sinking its mouth parts into that, and the leaf is disappearing at a scary fast rate. Nom 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 nom. These things have the munchies permanently. Wow, fantastic. So some of these larvae are smaller, but it's definitely also the final instar. So that's great too. I think it's not going to take long before all of them have pupated, really. Which is great news. Great! Great, great, great. Most of the dulcinea cocoons, I store them here in this container so they can pupate safely. Later I will give them their own cage, but first I'm going to open one up to see what the pupa looks like and to see if they are healthy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I just opened the cocoon. Generally I advise against opening cocoons, but once in a while I like to do it. Just to get some... Opening cocoons does have advantages sometimes. Just to get some guarantees on the shape of the pupa and the gender, and to see if they are healthy stock. So far it's looking really good. So here we have a pupa of Actias dulcinea. As you can see, it's moving. It's because it's a live animal. If you guys have ever wondered what's going on inside a cocoon, this is what's going on inside of it. Actually, which is a lot. Cocoons can move a lot, despite the fact that they are confined in these pupa. Alright, so this is the only one I'm going to open up. The rest I'm going to keep them perhaps inside of their cocoons. I just thought it was interesting to show you one of them. So, more cocoons will form soon. This is just the beginning. Alright, I opened one more cocoon, sorry guys, just to see how they're doing. I was just too curious, and I never documented the pupa of this species before. And I'm trying to document all the life stages, so here you go. Actias dulcinea pupa. Looking pretty fine. If you ask me, looking pretty lively. So that's nice. That's pretty good. I'm happy for it. Great. Great, 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 great. And let's put them back. Ciao. A few days later, of course, we check back.
Alright people, let's check how Dulcinea is doing.
Should be almost finished, really. Well, one of the first things I notice is another cocoon. It's really neatly hidden here between the leaves. There! I just broke it off. Another Dulcinea cocoon, folks. You can't get around that. And in the layer of paper here, we find yet another cocoon that was spun. Great. Great, great, great. And here between these leaves, don't mind the thunder on the background, another cocoon is being spun. So, fantastic. That's another sweetheart moon moth coming up. These two caterpillars are all that we have left now. Hope they make it as well. That would be chill. Let's put them back here on the oak tree. Enjoy. Enjoy. Enjoy your dinner. Become nice moths for me, alright? That would be fine. Alright people, here's the cocoons of the sweetheart moon moth. I took some of them out of the cocoon just for fun, so we can see the pupa. So this species, it can have up to 2 generations a year, but most of the time they have 1 generation, but not always. I think if you put them really warm and you raise them early, I think they are like, maybe we can make another generation. Now the cocoons of this species, they move a lot. Can you see it? Look, wait. Can you hear it? Look. So this is a moving cocoon, see that? They do this a lot. If they feel threatened, they will just shake like that. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, well 9. We have 9 cocoons, it's not bad. It's a modest amount. I mean, in some episodes of MothCycles I raise over 50 of one insect, and sometimes I raise a modest amount. Seems like this is going to be one of those episodes where we have modesty, but that's fine. This should be enough to pair them with some luck. I do wonder if they're going to hibernate or not. The cocoons can be stored on room temperature. If you are lucky, they will hatch in 1 to 2 months' time. But if you are unlucky, the cocoons will hibernate and it can take up to 7 months. In that case, you need to store them cold and warm them up in spring. A few days later, of course, we check back. And then I hear the sound. Something was coming out. Welcome to this world, little beauty. Wow, here it is. A male of the sweetheart moon moth, Actias dulcinea. What a fascinating species, is it not? This species is from the Far East. It is found in parts of Russia, Korea, Japan and China. Thankfully, it seems like mine did not overwinter this time. On this channel we have documented the life cycle of many awesome moon moths, and I never get tired of seeing them. They are so incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, We have successfully done it. Our first sweetheart moon moth came out. Turns out the cocoons didn't hibernate this time and we are having a second generation. Now this male, he has an imperfection here. Probably rubbed off some scales, but this male is absolutely gorgeous. Just look at how big this moth is and its unique and beautiful colors. This is really a special species of moon moth, as you can see. Now one thing that's kind of cool and interesting is that in the Far East there's dozens of similar looking species of moon moths like Actias gnoma, Actias artemis, species like that. This is one of those species from the Far East, Actias dulcinea. It's gorgeous, really. It's kind of large, even. It's not as large as Actias dulcinea, although it's from the same species group, more or less. But it really is a beautiful and unusual moon moth, and not many breeders breed this species at all. So just take a careful look at its its gorgeous colors, its gorgeous appearance. Wow, you are a beautiful insect, you know? You are fantastic, and I'm happy that I raised it. Wow, splendid. Moths are like the poetry of nature, you know? But not everybody can read the poetry. That's why I'm here on YouTube. I'm here to translate the poetry of nature for you, so you can understand their beauty as well. Incredible! Now I do hope that the rest of my cocoons are going to come out as well. For me to successfully reproduce them, a female will have to come out between now and the next 5-6 days. These moths don't live very long, they don't have a functioning mouth. They live off a fat reserve in their abdomen, and if their energy runs out, they practically die. But wow, it's amazing. Fantastic. I do like the size of this species. They're not as small as some other Far Eastern moon moths, like it has a nice medium size, little bit above average for the moths of this group, if you don't count giants like Selene and Ningpoana maybe. What a beautiful, gorgeous, incredible creature. Nature is so beautiful, guys. Can you believe it? What have we humans done to deserve sharing our planet with things like these? And the real shame is, a lot of people don't even appreciate that fact. I guess that's why I make my channel, to make people appreciate the fact that stuff like this exists for us to admire. Of course, it doesn't just exist for us. The universe doesn't revolve around humans and their feelings. Nature doesn't exist for us to use or for us to admire. But it's there, and we have the option to admire it. Just so happens that we share the same planet, you know? And more people should be appreciative of that fact. Let's see if his color looks different in the sun. Oh look, it's starting to be a little bit more greenish in the sunlight. A little bit of autofluorescence going in there. Anyway, I'm gonna bring the moth back. I think it's time to take this gorgeous creature and take it back with me indoors. Now I'm going to keep it alive, obviously, and we're going to wait until hopefully a female will come out that will mate with this male right here. That would be a nice ending of the video. Wow, what a nice species, isn't it? few days later, of course, we check back. Look, more moths are coming out. Welcome to this world, little one. Come out. Homies, it looks like we got ourselves a female. Think we have to give her some time to find a place to inflate her wings. But this could be a potential pairing. Let's leave her alone. Moths, they need some time alone. Don't stress them if they just hatch from the cocoon. This is looking potentially good. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, and here we have the female of Actias dulcinea. As you can see, the female is quite different from the male I showed you before. First of all, she is much larger, as you can see. The female of this species is bigger than the male. That's normal for saturnids though. But she also has kind of short, stubby tails on her hind wings. Whereas the males seem to have much longer wings. She also has a very big abdomen. Now all these differences that I'm showing you right now, all these differences are normal for pretty much most saturnids. But it's still good to see it, right? This is really a beautiful species, and if she can pair with the male, I'm going to do another generation. Maybe we can do 2 generations in this video, it depends on how much time I have. But this species is unusual. What's funny is right now this species is really common in the hobby. Everybody can obtain it in the marketplace. But it used to be very hard to get actually. So. Oh. She's very rounded wings also. Whereas the male seems to have more falcate wings. Now, I don't film all the moths that come out, of course, because the episode would be too long if I show you every individual that we raised. But here's another male that just came out. This is a smaller male, by the way. He's smaller than all the other moths so far. But I just wanted to show it because, well, MothCycles are my way of releasing my energy and my compulsive need to talk about insects. And it really is a nice species. And the eye spots of this species are kind of unique. I haven't seen many moon moths with this kind of eye spots. Like this shape. And the way they are marked is sort of unique. And as you can see, Actias dulcinea is really cool species. Medium sized with sharp falcate wings. Really cool. Nothing in life makes me happier than just seeing cool moths, guys. It's awesome. It's a bit windy outdoors today. But yeah. If you can find eggs of this species, I recommend raising them. They're really cool. They're really cool, to be honest. Very cool. And look at the fluffy white hairs. Obviously those hairs help to keep them warm. So nice. So cute. So beautiful. If you follow my channel, you'll see that I'm going to raise all the species of moon moth that are in the hobby. I've already raised most of them, but some of them are missing. I still have to do the comet moths, the Argema mitiae, Argema mimosa. I still have to do the Spanish moon moth. So some of the most difficult and rare ones are missing, but I have some top rarities on my channel already. Like Actias isis from Sulawesi, Actias rhodopneuma. Those are some top rarities. Actias chapai would be nice. Now for the people who are not into entomology and not into moon moths, that all sounds like gibberish, like who the hell are these species, what are these names? But the moth lovers will understand. Look at how it's resting with its wings closed. A fantastic species, folks. It's windy. I'm gonna bring it back indoors. I just hope you really enjoyed the small segment here. A few days later, of course, we check back. Our male, unfortunately, at this point is several days old. Now, these moths do not live for very long, so being several days old, he is already damaged. And I hope that he has enough energy left to pair with the female. Let's hope they do the moth sex. Oops, that's a naughty word. Sex is a very bad thing, people. Don't do it, please. Anyway, here you see the male. His wingtips have... Whoop! He just jumped. His wingtips have deteriorated a little bit, and I'm going to place him inside this enclosure right here. And now I'm going to take our gorgeous and beautiful female specimen. Just look at how nice she is and how great. What a beautiful moth species, isn't it? It's really fantastic. I'm going to place her inside the same enclosure, and I'm just going to leave them alone. Just leave them in a dark place at night. Check back in the next morning. The mating can be very short, so don't bother trying to observe it. If you're lucky, you will see them mate at night, but if not, it's no biggie. They can mate really fast. The female is going to lay eggs. We're going to collect the eggs and see if they will be fertile in 2 weeks. Look, more moths are coming out. And another new female is also coming out. Now things are really getting interesting. Now this should really be the moment that we get pairings. Right folks, the lighting here is quite terrible, but several moths have come out. Let me show you the status update. First of all, the first male that we had, he's pretty much dead already. They don't live very long. But apart from that, we have one female. Whoops, she just flew away. Another female that just hatched. And a short moment ago, we also just had a fresh male. And they're not very cooperative right now because these moths are very wild. It's difficult to handle them. There you go. So here is our newest male. Very beautiful greenish color, can you see it? And on top of that, we've also had another new female come out. Isn't that great? She needs more time to dry her wings though. So this should, in my opinion, absolutely lead to pairings and fertile eggs. So just gonna leave them alone in the dark though, because they are nocturnal animals. Oh, this one is dead. One thing that I can offer you is a nice close-up of the male before we move on. Babes, take one more close look at this gorgeous moon moth. I've already shown you several close-ups, so maybe this one is a little bit redundant, but I'm just obsessed with filming them at this point. I'm very happy about the fact that my cocoons did not decide to hibernate, otherwise this video would have taken much more time. They seem to have 2 generations per year, and the second generation seems to tend to hibernate. So I'm glad that within just a few months' time my moths came out of their cocoons. That saves us a lot of time and trouble. This is one gorgeous and one healthy male, as you can see, a fantastic specimen in top condition. Seems like we did a good job rearing them. And now we are supposed to leave them in the dark and not disturb them. If we do this properly, the male and females will begin to mate. Next, I'm just going to put the moths here in the dark. So tonight I should leave them here complete darkness. Those are the conditions the insects need to pair. After all, since they are nocturnal, they need darkness. So I'm gonna get my stuff out of the way and shut off the lights. Fantastic. Oh, how much joy does moth breeding give us, doesn't it? Our cages are a little bit dirty. I think I need to order some new ones. Anyway, let's switch off the light. I'll check back tomorrow. Good night, my little insects. As you can see, the moths are starting to come out, and we have many. And they are starting to lay eggs, so it's about time we start collecting them. A few days later, of course, we check back. Alright folks, the next day there has been definite evidence of mating. Look at that, here in the corner of the cage. The male and the female are sitting very close together. That's pretty much what they do after they have mated. Well, I'm disturbing them now by opening the cage, but very interesting. I think these insects have both mated. And now I'm going to collect the eggs in a petri dish. Saturnid moths are perhaps the easiest moths to breed in general. We have to be careful, this male is freaking out. Anyway. Oh god, this is annoying. So, Saturnid moths in general are the easiest moth to breed of all the families of moths. That's why they are so popular. They are big and pretty much almost all of them are easy with a few exceptions. So the females, they will lay their eggs just everywhere. Like literally everywhere. Do you guys see this stuff here on the walls? All of this is just eggs, see? So I use my finger just to scrape them off. Then I collect them in the petri dish. Alright people, so the eggs of this species, they hatch in about 2 weeks time on room temperature. So that's a lot of eggs the females have laid. If these are fertile, you know what, if these are fertile and they hatch, I'm just going to rear maybe I'm going to rear this generation as well in the same video. That would be fun. I haven't decided yet though if I'm going to film it, because it's going to be a lot of extra work to show you a species I just already filmed the life cycle of. Man, that's a lot of moon moth eggs, isn't it? Yes, moths. Yes, moths. A new female has come out today. I'm gonna put her outside with the rest. No. Quickly going to add our newest female to the rest and see if she pairs with the male. I hope the male here has enough strength. That's it, gonna keep them outside, not disturb them, and check back later. Short but sweet, I know. That's it for now. Another day, another new moth, ladies and gentlemen. I just had a small male of Actias dulcinea come out. I cannot show him off because he really wants to fly away right now, which is unfortunate, but this male is really wild. And of course our beautiful new male is going to live in the cage together with all the other moths. And as you can see, immediately he wants to fly, and that's why I was careful. Ooh, it's getting stormy. But I also have an awesome new update, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So I just took a look at the petri dish of eggs, and babies are already coming out. So this is the next generation of sweetheart moon moths. Yes, moths. Yes, moths. A new female has come out today. I'm gonna put her outside with the rest. Despite all of that, they are really nice and awesome insects. I really love them. But I'm gonna put them away because it's so windy outdoors right now. I'm afraid of them blowing away by the wind or something else stupid happening to them. Let's see how this male is doing. Oh, man, they're really going crazy out here. Oh man. You should be careful. Such a nice species. They do damage very fast, such is the fate of most moon moths. Anyway, let's put them back. They're really going crazy right now. A few days later, of course, we check back. Oh my god. Yikes. I do wonder how this male is still alive. He's absolutely ruined, but he's still alive. Okay, whatever. Seems that they've laid a lot more eggs. I'll have to collect those soon in a petri dish so we have even more babies. The more the merrier, isn't it? So yeah, this has been some good moon moth breeding, as you can see. Very nice, very beautiful species. It's too bad that they live for such a short time, don't they? I love moon moths, I really do. Well, here's some cocoons. Let's see if there's more of them. Yikes. I do wonder how this male is still alive. He's absolutely ruined, but he's still alive. Okay, whatever. Seems that they've laid a lot more eggs. I'll have to collect those soon in a petri dish so we have even more babies. The more the merrier, isn't it? So yeah, this has been some good moon moth breeding, as you can see. Very nice, very beautiful species. It's too bad that they live for such a short time, don't they? I love moon moths, I really do. After about 2 weeks, the eggs will hatch. It's windy outside, folks. Please forgive me for the wind. But look at this. Tiny little caterpillar babies are coming out of our eggs. Is that not fantastic? So what I'm gonna do is, for a short time, I'm going to place them in this container. I heard this species likes dogwood, so I'm gonna try and experiment, see if the caterpillars will eat it. That would be fantastic. Let's go. That's it, folks. Cheers, we raised another moon moth. And in the web series MothCycles, we always have a small educational rundown at the end of each life cycle. Let's start it. In 2011, a new scientific paper was published for the world to see. Its title was The Actias dulcinea 1815 in the Far East. How Many Species? By Vadim Zolotuhin. So, thank you for your research, Mr. Vadim. This paper would give several types of moon moth a new status, but more importantly, it would give Actias dulcinea a full species status. Formerly, it was considered to be a subspecies of Actias genoma. Next follows a detailed description of the species. Now, I'm not going to read all of this. If you want to find out yourself, try to download the original scientific paper. However, I can summarize some of the characteristics that are mentioned here. All moon moths have different eye spots if you look closely, and while these eye spots sometimes look incredibly similar, they do have key differences that can be used to distinguish between species. Eyes of the wings of Actias dulcinea are narrow, without a frame or border that surrounds them. Now let's look at some of the differences between Actias dulcinea and other related moon moths from the Far East. One of the traits that is sort of unique to dulcinea is the wavy wing edges. As you can see, the wing edge is more smooth for most other species. Secondly, most other species can have a dark post-marginal line. Actias dulcinea seems to lack this trait. Their color is more pale. There's also a difference between the genitals of this moth and the other species. Here is a map of the range of this species. As you can see, it is found in parts of Russia, parts of Korea, northeastern China, and also in Japan, where it occurs in sympatry with the related species Actias aliena, and is reliably known from at least Tokyo and other places in Japan. Interestingly, the species Actias dulcinea was for a long time overlooked by scientists because it was considered to be a synonym of Actias genoma. If you ever find eggs of this species, they can be reared on a lot of plants such as oak tree or quercus, fagus or beech, salix or willow, prunus or cherry, and most likely a lot of other plants. Well, that was just a quick summary for today, guys. I'm gonna keep the presentation short because in the past I did a lot of long presentations. But I do hope you enjoyed watching this humble little life cycle. Ciao, ciao! Thanks for watching, guys. Now, these episodes take a long time to make and film. Usually at least 3 to 6 months. If you like the show, if you like what I do on my YouTube channel, consider becoming a member of my Patreon or tipping or donating. My channel is completely demonetized by YouTube and I don't make any money from my videos beyond what people donate. Of course, this is all optional and only if you are willing and able to afford it. No pressure. Everybody can enjoy my videos for free and spread the love for insects. See you next video.